Let me introduce you to Hernando R. Ocampo, a national artist for visual arts. But he was more than that. He was a guerrilla spy, a bilibid prisoner, a fictionist, a playwright, an editor, and yes, a modernist legend. I am Mona Magno Veluz. I hunt down ancestors and chase fascinating stories in Philippine history. HR Ocampo was born in 1911 in Manila to Emilio Ocampo and Delfina Ruiz. He originally studied law, commerce, and creative writing and worked as a writer before he taught himself how to paint. Aside from working in periodicals, he also worked as a writer and director for television. His flair for dramatics may have become a self-fulfilling prophecy for his own life. When World War II hit, Ocampo worked for Japanese-controlled theaters by day, but he was also an intelligence spy for the guerrillas, passing information, saving lives, and dodging the Kempeitai. But during the liberation, through a series of unfortunate events, Ocampo was imprisoned for being a collaborator for 8.5 months in the Bilibid prison. His wife passed away while he was behind bars. So what does an artist do in prison? He paints on scraps of wood, on torn canvas for military cuts, with whatever he could salvage. The Plower, Pounding Rice at Twilight, Madonna of the Slums, Forced Labor, Grief, all painted in 1945, all raw, all searing with the stories he lived and the suffering he witnessed. The faceless figures? That's the common Filipino, the peasants from his stories, the laborers under colonial rule, the prisoners he lived with. These works are Ocampo writing history with a brush, even as the world had literally collapsed around him. These paintings are also snapshots from stories he has written. The crimson tones, that's the blood spilled in his story Rice and Bullets. The mother and child, straight out of his story Bakya. How did these pieces survive? A young American private named Arnold Margulis stood guard over this artist inside the Bilibid prison. He eventually bought these pieces from Ocampo and brought them home to San Diego. It must not have been for much money because according to his 1943 draft card, he was unemployed. When he returned to the US, the 1950 census shows he was living in a single dwelling with his wife, working 72 hours a week as a laundryman. He was not exactly living the luxurious life of a wealthy art collector. Thanks to this American soldier who appreciated the art and the artist, these paintings and this chapter of HR Ocampo's history live on. The 5 petite oil paintings on wood from 1945, all created under circumstances more dramatic than any teleserye, are going under the hammer at Leon Gallery's Kingly Treasures auction on Saturday, December 6, 2025 at 2 p.m. Go and take a peek at Leon Gallery between November 29 and December 5 before these go into private collections. Through these small wooden panels, we peek into our nation's history. Images of prison life, wartime Manila, peasant uprisings, and the emotional wreckage of a nation emerging from war. Sining inspired by saklap. O diba?
Meow meow.